For I have to apologize. Oh, it's like we are just starting. Hello, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Arise Africa. This is Minister Ada Jesus. First of all, I have to apologize for for the difference in time. We have a live program in Kingdom Radio today. We have an ongoing music competition which was awesome today. We invite you next week, Saturday. Please endeavor to connect by 1 p.m. European time. We are doing a wonderful competition. You see great ministers from different part of the world, organized and sponsored by Kingdom Radio 94.9 FM. Because of that, we could not do our program the normal time that is supposed to be. But no problem if you are there, just connect. Don't forget to share the program. Don't forget to share and call your friends. Connect. Arise Africa want to start. Today we have a special guest of all, a special guest speaker, uh, Evangelist Efosa, all the way from Spain, who is going to speak today on love. Africa is like what we need most is love. With love, we can conquer. No wonder Christ summarized all the 10 Commandments with love. Therefore, we welcome our speaker today, Minister Evans. Please, can you come on screen? God bless you, sir.
That
Good
Jesus, how
evening,
you doing?
sir. Fine, sir. Good
Yeah.
evening. Happy Easter to start with, and happy weekend.
Thank you very much. Nice to be
Yeah,
with you again today.
thank you, sir. You are welcome once more on Arise Africa. We have had you before, and it was a great privilege having you in the platform. And today, it's a pleasure having you back again on this platform, Arise Africa. Today, we have a topic which we say love. Oh my God, what a topic! Love. Oh, it's like my name, love. Love it. So I don't know. We Africa, we need love. We need, we need unity. We need love, most especially to be able to rise up again. So I welcome you once more. And please, if this is your first time of, you are you just the dengue pass, or you just the, you just the pass for YouTube or what or Facebook. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. You can follow us on Instagram, Kingdom Radio 94.9 FM. We are still streaming live on YouTube, Kingdom Radio 94.9 FM, and also on this Facebook page, Kingdom Radio 94.9 FM. We have other series. In case this is your first time, we have other series with different topic, with different people from all over the world. You can go there and just type Arise Africa. Even on Google, if you type Arise Africa and by Ada Jesus, it will come at you. You are going to enjoy it. God bless you for joining us. Minister, please, you can commence.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me once again. And I want to say a big thank you to the host, Pastor Chris, for this special program. You know, this program is not just a program, it's a platform of a solution to the world. And today we have decided to shed light on the topic love. You know, we are speaking about love because if Africa must arise from the scourge of poverty and underdevelopment, love must be activated in Africa because love is light. Wherever there's no light, you know that it's darkness that you're going to be experiencing. And today I'm going to be shedding light on that topic, not basically from the angle of religion, because love is a global principle, it's not a religious concept. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Jesus, Jesus did not come to preach religion. The reality of the kingdom of God is love, and love is God. Man was made in the image and likeness of love. And if we must serve God effectively, it must be from this angle. Are you getting it? And that
Yes.
was why Jesus said in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, it says, "Let your light so shine that men will see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." The expression of love is God giving to himself. And without love, there is no society that will experience development. Love is very important in the growth and development of any society, not just as a story or a theory, but as a basic principle. Because without love, it's difficult for you to be of great help to anybody. Now, one of the basic issues that people should understand is that when you are coming from the angle of religion, you discover that it's difficult to actually express love. But if you approach it universally, you realize that one area that we can effectively express the love of God is politics. Why politics? For example, if you belong to one particular denomination, you realize that the doctrine of your denomination does not affect everybody. Other religious groups do not believe with the ideology of your doctrine. But a politics, when a government makes a law, that law, that law is binding on everybody in the society, irrespective of who the person is. And that's the reason for there to be a development in any continent or in a country, this is the basic factor that has to be taken into consideration. Because without love, the people you are called to help are going to suffer. That was why Jesus said, "Let your light so shine." Love is light, and God is light. For there to be light in every society, we must do our best to make sure that each and every one of us is an agent of light, not of darkness. And because love is the power of service, it's very important that we must become fully awakened to love. And to love is not that kind of love whereby you are into a relationship with people on the basis of what you are going to get, or on the basis of how you minister to them because they also minister to you in the same way. So the day they take away their bread, you also take away your butter. Not in that sense. The love of God, which is agape, that selfless love that enables you to be of great help to people unconditionally. That is the kind of love that is needed in Africa right now. The reason is this: the level of oppression and manipulation is too high in Africa. Because most people preach love, they talk about love, but in reality, they are not practicalizing it. At this point in time, the greatest religion that the world needs to embrace is the religion of love, which is above all other religions. When we come to the realization of this truth, then Africa is ready to embrace the future that it looks forward to. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. And because politics is one special area where love is being expressed, this has to become everyone's responsibility to making sure that Africa becomes a better continent. Otherwise, we are just going to be living in a state of hope, believing God to do wonders while we are not doing our own responsibility. One of the ways you can tell if you are actually in love is that until you come to a place whereby you are able to see God in everybody you meet in life, you are still talking around the concept of love. You have not actually had an encounter with love. When you understand love, you start seeing God in everyone you meet in the journey of life. And by the time you come to such level of understanding, being of great help to people becomes easy. Why? Compassion becomes your watchword. And this is what Africa need at this point in time. And the reason for this is because, in fact, the major problem of Africa is bad leadership. Bad leadership. And the people that needs to understand this concept of love are the leaders. Because when the leaders are not in tune with this factor, it is very clear that the people they are ministering to are going to suffer. For example, I was listening to one man of God on a certain day, and he was talking about love, telling its members why they have to show love unto others, and alongside with some videos of how he has been helping some widows and some people in the society, you know. And I was actually applauding him within my privacy. But in another occasion, I watched a video of him during a service. A particular woman came into the service crying. And in that occasion, the woman said that she used her house to borrow money from money lenders, and that the time for her to pay back has expired. That now, after that time, she was unable to pay back. That she was in a dream crying, and that God told her that she should go and meet such a man of God for help. After narrating this story, the man of God said, "Oh, that's a bad dream." And he now further said that there are people that attend this church, they give offering in this church, they give tithe in this church. If I should leave them and help you, it's bad. Charity begins at home. So I was now wondering that all this topic of love that you have been teaching your members all along, is it so much about the members of your ministry? And at the end of the day, he didn't actually minister to the woman. The woman went away. Do you understand? That means, even though as much as I appreciate him and love what he was doing, to a very large extent, the way he handled that issue shows that if he also becomes a president of a country, he's certainly not going to be able to minister to everybody in the country. So he's going to be concerned about the people of his geopolitical zone. Are you getting it? Now, love doesn't have to be about our family members alone or about our denominational members. Love being a universal principle, it has to do with we having an open mind towards all beings upon the face of the earth. And that's the reason that is the next level of human evolution at this point in time. Because wherever there's no love, you can tell what is going to be happening in that area. And one of the reflection of lack of love in a country is insecurity. Where you have insecurity, that's an evidence of the fact that the level of love in that country is low. Also, like a country like Nigeria today is suffering from the issue of lack of power stability. And that's also another evidence that the level of love in that country is very low. There's a need for Nigerian leaders to step up the power of love in that country. I am using Nigeria as a case study. I know that we are talking about Africa in general. And the reason is very important that this power will need to be activated is that the two aspects of governance that determines the well-being of humanity upon the face of the earth are politics and religion. And because it is politics and religion, it's very important that the leaders have to become awakened to these principles. For example, when the issue of COVID-19 was very high and most of the countries were shut down, you realize that one of the only organs of rulership that was operative was government. Most of all the churches were shut down. It was the government that remains operational. And that is the aspect where love is expected to be expressed universally. But in Africa, it's not working out. It's not working out. On a certain day, in another occasion, I was listening to a politician, a famous politician in Nigeria, one of the former president of Nigeria. In that campaign, he was telling the youth that the federal government has made the plan to send most of the Nigerian youth to the universities. And I was applauding him also. And along the line, he said, but there is a criteria. And that the criteria is that you will have to, first of all, go to the university and graduate with a first class. Afterwards, the federal government will now have to pick the best among the first class and send them to the best 25th universities in the world. And the youth were very happy. I looked at what he was saying. I said, this is a fraud. Why are you so concerned about those who are able to afford that university education? Why can't you pay attention to the well-being of the less privileged who cannot afford that education for themselves? Why are you concerned about those who can afford it? If they can afford it, they will not need it. They will not need it. So if it were to be a country whereby leaders are actually awakened to love, they will realize that it's very important to pay attention to the needs of the dying world. And this absence of love is one of the reasons that makes some religious organizations in Africa build universities that only those who are financially okay can afford those institutions. Most of them will build a hospital. The less privileged cannot afford it. Where is the manifestation of love? So you think if Jesus, for example, was to be alive, he will build a school that the less privileged cannot attend? Of course, no. So you think he will build a hospital that only the rich can afford? Of course, no. This is what leaders in Africa will need to embrace, because if they are not approaching it from this angle, time is coming that they cannot be able to withstand the youth. You realize that what just happened in Nigeria not quite long, the NSAS protest, that is just the reflection of the anger and of the suffering in the land. That is not the end. The worst case is unfolding. African leaders should get ready. And one of the best ways to solve this kind of problem is to actually come from the angle of compassion. Let's begin to pay attention to the needs of the dying world. Let's find a way of how to help the less privileged. If you look into the issue of African youth migration, you realize that the number is almost getting higher, getting out of hand. And government cannot continue to pretend as if they are not seeing the problem. The only thing that will help African leaders to be able to conquer such scourge of poverty is that they should begin to learn to embrace love and to express love unto everyone. Love, like I said, is not a religious concept, it's a universal principle. And because it's a universal principle, it's necessary for each and every one of us to embrace it. Where there is love, there is no darkness. Where there is love, there is no evil. Where there is love, there is no insecurity. Where there is love, poverty is drastically reduced because there is that experience of sharing. Where there is love, there is no oppression. Where there is love, there is caring. Hallelujah.
Amen.
And this is why when we understand this concept, we begin to operate from a higher end so that you don't just give to people because of what you want to get. Whenever you give to people, you also see it as a way of giving to yourself. And by so doing, begin to distribute the word of God, to everybody. When love is at work in you, you will know that it's needless for you to give light to a place where there's already a light. You understand? And with love, it's easier for you to come to the state of being able to carry others along. And that is God at work in you. You remember that when Jesus said, "Let your light so shine," there is no other way we can prove that we love God without we demonstrating our love. Love is not an inward experience, it's an outward experience. When you love, giving becomes the order of the day. For Africa to arise from the scourge of poverty and underdevelopment, we must all embrace this virtue so that when we find an opportunity to be of great service to people, we know that we are actually operating from the angle of love. And because we have undermined this factor, and that's why our politics has been left in the hands of people who are amateured. What we have in Africa today is that most governments are instituted through the process of thuggery. Do you understand? A few days back, I was discussing with some Nigerian youths, and they were telling me that, do you know that if you want to become a councillor, local government chairman, or a governor, you will need a huge amount of money to do just that? And I asked them that, isn't that foolishness that me that is coming into politics to be of great help to my people, I will not have to spend my personal money to do what? To bribe people to vote for me? That is stupidity. They said, no, it's very important. I said, it's not important. Why? Because there is no compassion in their heart, because that's a big responsibility. When you are coming, maybe as a councillor, as a local government chairman, as a governor, as a president, you are coming to express love. That's what service is all about. then true service does not require you to go borrowing money to acquire a position. Do you understand? Then Africans must realize that because government is one of the universal institutions of rulership that affect the well-being of humanity, we must all be concerned in that aspect, so that during elections, we don't throw away our vote out of ignorance. Whatever you do, you have to become careful and conscious about the well-being of others, knowing fully well that the decisions you are making today will affect your generation as well and the generations yet unborn, which is very important. And by the time someone comes into a position, through by giving you money, then he is doing business with you. When he gets there, you are not going to be expecting him to work selflessly. He has to regain his money. Are you getting it? So that by the time we understand this ideology of this love of God, which is agape, we no longer do things on the basis of what we are going to get individually. Rather, we begin to contribute to the well-being of everybody. That's what will actually save Africa. The idea of hoarding money for your personal interest and for the interest of your family will not be there anymore. You realize that the suffering of one is the suffering of all. If you are rich and you happen to build a house in a community whereby only your house have light, you know you are in trouble. You are in trouble. So when you come to that state whereby you are able to share what you have with others, although I'm not trying to tell you that you must do it, but it's a level of understanding that everybody needs to come into. Because if love is light and we are made in the image and likeness of light, then it's relevant for us to become an agent of light unto our generations. That's one of the best ways we can serve God effectively. Nothing more than that. Outside love, nothing else exists. That by the time our leaders understand this concept, it will also affect the policy of ECOWAS. It will affect the association of the OAU, how they carry out their activities. But when these leaders have become self-centered, it will be very detrimental to the majority of the people. By so doing, you realize that poverty becomes the order of the day. Just like Albert Einstein said that you cannot solve a problem by the mentality that created it. It's very important. If Africa must move forward, we must change our mentality. We must change the way we used to do things. We must embrace a new understanding. Then we must embrace a new style of living. And this new culture that is relevant for Africans to embrace is the culture of love. Where there is love, there won't be any insecurity. Where there is love, there will not be a state of disunity. With love, we can easily be able to come together and be of great help to one another. Are you seeing it? Then, instead of you becoming too conscious of going to heaven, you realize that our assignment here on earth as ambassadors of heaven is all about bringing heaven to earth. That was why Jesus said, "Let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." So the will of God is that each and every one should be in good health and be happy. So whenever you express love, you are giving light to the world because God is love. For this very reason, Africa, from the angle of religion down to the arena of politics, Love must become our watchword. Love must not be a story that we are saying every day, and yet it's not affecting our attitude, it's not affecting our actions. This is the greatest religion, irrespective of who you are, whether you think you're a Muslim, whether you think you're a Christian, because at the end of the day, love is the essence of all religions upon the face of the earth. This is the factor that unites us all. And love is the power of solution. Because without love, you cannot see the need to be of great help to your society in a certain direction. And that's the reason when God is leading you, God will not lead you to go and do a thing that is not a problem or solve any issue that is not a problem. When you become a solution, it means you become an agent of light to your society. Until you understand that God is love and love is God, then we will continue to live in a state of darkness. And God never wished that we should live in a such state of ignorance or darkness. The reason most Africans are suffering today is because our leaders have actually departed from this truth. The way we understand love is not the way it is from the concept of Jesus Christ. From the perspective of Jesus Christ, love is a universal principle. It carries everybody along. Do you understand? Like I said before, that one basic arena whereby love can actually be expressed for the good of all humanity is through governance. Because every policy of government affects everybody, irrespective of your religious group. But religious doctrine don't affect everybody in a country. Like a Christian doctrine will not affect someone who's a Muslim. Just like a Muslim doctrine will not affect someone who's a Christian. But when love acts, it carries everybody along. For that very reason, we must come to this state of universality to ensure that whenever we are in a position to be of great help to people, we do it from the standpoint of agape, to the glory of God. And by so doing, you realize that Africa will gradually transformed into a powerful continent. So this is the concept which Africans need to embrace at this point in time. Thank you very much, Ada. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you, sir,
The,
for that wonderful program today. Indeed, what we need in Africa is love, independence. As you said, you just said it right. It's not a matter of religion, because love is a principle that need to, guide anyone, independent of your religions, especially through
yes,
government. Because if the government apply love in the government, then the citizens will not suffer. If there is love in the society, then everyone will be, regarded and respected and valued. Because by the
yes,
time whom you love, you don't maltreat. Whom you love, you don't ignore. Whom you love, you think of. God bless you for that wonderful program. Indeed, it is a nice one. So, but I have a question for you. Just
yes,
a very brief question. Do you think that religious in Africa have a greater part to play when it comes to like love? Do you think that there is a huge vacuum in from the religious part in Africa when talking about love?
Yes,
When I mean
yes.
religion, both every religion, both Muslim and Christians.
There is a big vacuum in the sense that, when you want to be a good example of a particular concept to people, you have to be the practitioner of that thing you are saying. For example, in most part of Africa, especially in Nigeria, you realize that some organizations, religious organizations, will build a university, like I said before, basically only for the rich. The less privileged people can't afford that. Then that's not love expression, because love is expected to be expressed towards those who are less privileged. Do you understand? And for a religious organization to build, though they are, most of our religious organizations are trying, but they have to do their best to making sure that their works, their actions are in alignment with love practically, not saying love and doing something different. Do you understand? Like I said
Yes.
before, if Jesus Christ was to be alive or around this time, if he builds a hospital, it's going to be for everybody. Basically, for those who cannot afford healthcare. If he builds education, it's going to be for everybody. Do you understand? Now, this issue is not effective in Africa because why? Government builds a universities, for example. Basically, it's not for everybody. They will tell you that secondary school education is compulsory. University is not a necessity. That tells you that it's for those who have money. At the end of the day, religious organizations will still build a university only for the few people.
Who is that doing the who is that doing the love walk? I don't understand.
Okay, you see that there's a question there. They will
Mm-hmm.
build a hospital and yet the less privileged can't afford it. It's just like the same thing with government. So the center that's supposed to express love expressly is the religious organizations who claim that they are charity organization. Then if an organization that claims that we are a no-profit organization, that our business is to show love, and they are still acting as the politicians, then there's a big vacuum. There's a big
Thank you,
vacuum.
sir. Thank you, sir. I still have, one more question. Still talking
Yes.
about religious. Religious supposed to be a center where people get hope for where the hopeless get hope, the helpless get help. But today we are seeing that it has been like a kind of if you are not my member, if you are not my group, then you are not important. It's like it's even going to the extent that even the paradise is only remain for a particular group of people. And we forget, as the English people say, they say charity begins at home. These are the group of people that literally controls the world. The young politicians, the youths of tomorrow, they are coming out from this place. So this will not affect when they get to government. They will also do that segregation. So do you think that religions bring more harm to Africa than good?
To some extent, at this point in time, religion has done, to some extent, religion has done well. But to a very large extent, religion is not helping Africa at this point in time. You know why? The way religion is being practiced in Africa, especially from the angle of Christianity, is not in line with what Jesus came to accomplish. Because right now, the kind of religious system we have in Africa is like a lottery system. And that kind of a lottery system of Christianity is impoverishing the majority of people, making them to think that God is a lottery system that for God to bless you, you have to bring what you have for God to give you what you need. That is not what Jesus came to preach. By so doing, instead of raising powerful people, religion to some extent, in fact, to a very large extent, is raising more poor people in Africa.
Hmm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Making them to give away what they have, you know, with the expectation that God will give me more. At the end of the day, they lose everything. That is not what Jesus came to do. In the book of Hosea 4:6, God said, "My people are perished for lack of knowledge." In fact, the worst virus that is destroying Africa is ignorance. It's the virus of ignorance, which we must conquer. But to a very large extent, religion has not been able to cure that. It's all about miracle, 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 prophecy. Do you understand that? By so doing, you keep people in a state of hope, expecting them to expect angel from heaven that will deliver something to them. Whereas what is putting people in bondage is ignorance. Another way around, too much of guidance kills people's creativity. When you tell people what to do almost every time, you are not helping them. That is one of the major problems of African religious system. This idea of godfatherism, if you don't have this one, you cannot do this. You must have a godfather. If you don't have godfather, you cannot succeed in life. At the end of the day, they kill your belief system and they tell you that you stand up on your feet, go and fulfill your destiny. Do you understand? Believe in yourself. And when you are not believing in yourself to showcase your destiny, one of them, some of them are becoming a stumbling block to the manifestation of your destiny. By so doing, most of the ministries are becoming Tower of Babel. Instead of a religion organization becoming like a school, it's becoming like a prison yard.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think this topic is going to be a topic on its own because I'm really concerned about the impact religion is having in Africa, both Muslim and Christian, even traditional religion. Now it's like Africa is divided by religion. Nothing holds together. So I think next time we are going to bring this topic. Let us see, where did this religion come from? Where is the origin? What is the main motive of bringing religion to Africa? What was the intention? What did they want to achieve? And how have we functioned? And how have religion helped Africa in development? After the colonialism, we are still talking about our rise Africa. We are not talking about religions, but we are talking about how Africa will rise again and the harm about Africa. So I think next time we are going to hold a round table and we intend inviting you so that people will not say, okay, maybe it's we are going to bring in people from different religions. We are going to bring in people from Muslim, from Christian, from traditional. Let us reason together. What is our problem in Africa? Why have religion become I don't know how I would call it, a factor that that have affected our life and is still affecting our lives, like how harm or how good is it doing to our life? We will intend inviting you. We expect you to honor us with your invitation in that round table. God bless you, sir, for a wonderful program today. I think this program, many people enjoy it because of a truth you have hit on the nail. Africa need love. Africa need unity. It's not about religion, but it's about unity. It's about love. When you love your brother, you think good of your brother. When you love your community, you think good of your community. When you love your country, you think the best about your country. So, once more, this is Arise Africa. Don't forget to join us every Saturday. From now till we have 3 weeks go, because we have live program, music competition live program, which make us to shift Arise Africa to 8 o'clock throughout this month. So join us every 8 o'clock in the evening after you might have finished what you are doing. Relax and enjoy the wonderful programs, topics that will bring on Arise Africa, that will help us, help our youth, help Africa. What are we talking about? We want Africa to rise again. Every child that eats grows. Africa needs to grow. We have been decolonized for how many years, and yet nothing to count about it. We need to grow. What are the things that are holding us down? That is what we discuss in Arise Africa. God bless you. I still remain your daughter, your sister, your minister, Ada Jesus. Streaming live on Kingdom Radio 94.9 FM. See you next week, and thank you for watching.